Hello. For all our wine lovers
and book lovers,
this is
Wine Sisters Book Club. Hello.
Hello. Gosh, we are just sitting here enjoying a beautiful glass of Castelnau champagne rosé.
Yep, sparkling rosé, champagne, delicious, beautiful. Champagne Castelnau is a new brand we are selling at our family's company at Wente Family Estates, and it is fantastic.
It's so yummy. I haven't had it. This is my first time having it, so I'm very excited.
There you go. You're welcome. I just tasted it with a buyer in downtown Livermore, and she really loved it too, but she loved some other items more.
What items?
We will now have Champagne Castelnau Brut.
Ooh.
Myriad as well Merlot.
I knew it.
And Ali's Pinot Noir in none other than Range Life. Whoop, whoop. So excited. Thank you,
so
Sarah.
fun.
If for any reason you ever decide to listen to this nonsense, thank you. Thank you. We're so excited. Nikki and I eat at Range Life often. Not as often as we used to.
I know. I used to eat there all the time, but since kids, Nick and I really don't go out.
Where does one find time to source babysitters?
Where do babysitters come from?
Where are you, babysitters?
Yeah. I will pay you if I could only find you.
It's like those memes when people like clink the wine bottles outside, but it's like, do we have to be like, yoo-hoo!
Yeah.
Come out.
Yeah. Babysitters. I'll pay you in money and wine.
Come
you
out,
can have
come
the wine
out.
after.
Come out wherever you are.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would love to go to Range Life. And I will be making an effort to get there so that I can have some of our fantastic wines.
Delish. Just
So
puts a
excited.
cherry on top.
It really does.
Super excited. I have to say, I don't normally set up sales calls and do that on my own. I walked out of there feeling like $1 million, $1 billion. And I'm like, that is what it's like to be in sales. You just get these wins that make you feel like you are untouchable.
I feel like, though, it's like you get one of those wins and it's like what keeps you in the game. But like you get a lot of losses that like probably are so hard. Like I don't think I could do sales. Sales reps, cheers to you people.
I know. It is hard for sure. And we don't normally get wins. But she took everything I had today other than the rosé because she didn't need 2 different champagnes. But, that doesn't happen all that much. So,
Yeah. Well, and
So
like
fun.
saying we don't normally get wins. No, we get a lot of wins, but we also get a lot of losses, just like everyone else.
just like everybody else.
in the alcohol industry in general right now is sort of
Yeah.
okay.
Well, and you're a big loser.
I am a big loser.
Yeah.
I can't remember who I was talking to, and that's mom brain for you. But someone was like, "Oh, well, they think you're super cool," and I was like, "Well, joke's on them because I'm actually a big nerd."
Reading about dragons and bird people?
shifters.
Bird shifters. I can't remember what you used last time.
I think I said crow or raven shifters, but they were actually crow shifters, which honestly makes it worse.
It does make it worse. It's actually disgusting. Get that out of here.
So PSA, there is a correction in place. It was crows, not ravens.
Just disgusting. I have no words other than no thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of alcohol industry, I saw on Instagram. Okay, follow this train of thought. It's super long, but like follow it. Okay.
Ugh. We'll try.
So Alex Earl, who is like popular Gen Z, influencer.
Yes.
She is launching an alcohol brand,
Wow.
which actually I think is great for the alcohol industry because we are in a steady decline as an industry.
What's it called?
She just like teased at it this morning on Instagram. Okay. So here's where my thoughts go wild. I was then looking at her boyfriend who is on the Miami Dolphins.
Also, lots of drama with him because he's Sophia Colpo's ex. But okay, we won't go into it.
So Miami Dolphins football player. And I look at him and I'm like, damn, he looks super old. Like I have to be younger than him.
What?
No. He is so young. He's like 28.
You think he looks super old?
I do. I think he looks like 38. Not like
I don't
super
think
old,
so.
but I think he looks like
Wait,
old.
also, no offense to anybody who's watching this, 38 is not super old. Nikki, you stupid young girl.
No, okay, so that's the that's the point of the whole
We hate
story.
you. We hate you.
This is the point of the whole story. Okay, so I look at these people and I'm like, wow, they look old. Couldn't be my age. I'm so young. Child bride, teen mom. And I'm constantly thinking like, I don't look like you people, but I do.
You people. You old people.
I'm old.
Well, and the good news is for me is that everyone thinks you look older than me.
I know.
Yeah.
But maybe they just think you look prepubescent. Like it could just be.
Hey, I got a baby's butt, smooth skin. No, not really. There's a lot going into that.
Yeah. No, so the reason that this is all like continuously coming up for me is because on Saturday last weekend, my husband and I were at a wedding in Carmel and we golfed with this really lovely couple in the morning that we don't know. And we were just paired with them. And they were like, oh, how long have you guys been married? And we were like, oh, 6 years. And I was like, they probably think I'm a child bride. Like they totally think we're so young. And then like the more I sat there and looked at them, I'm like, you know, they're probably exactly my age. Why do I think like originally that like people are judging me that I'm so young and like how could I have been married for 6 years? Like you must have been 12 when you got married.
I understand that. We were in Truckee having breakfast in this hotel we stayed in for the weekend. And we were in these booths where they were just lined up behind each other. So I was sitting facing my husband, and then behind him was a dad-daughter duo who were having breakfast. This little girl must have been 10, I don't know. Her dad and Nathan, my husband, both got up to either use the restroom or do something else at the same time. So I look up, and this sweet 10-year-old girl, by the way, she is beautiful, just like a beautiful person, is sitting there staring at me, giving me a smile. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, I wonder if she's thinking about how old I am. I'm like, does she think I look like a cute, cool mom? Or like, what's she thinking right now about me? Because she kept smiling at me. I was smiling back at her because I was thinking, you just are adorable. You're an adorable girl with so much life ahead of you. But I really wanted to know what she thought of me. So I don't know what that says about me.
I know. We just want affirmation that we are cool from the youth. So youth, please tell me that I look like an 18-year-old because that's actually 21 because here we are enjoying a glass of wine.
Yeah, 18's a little
young.
Yeah,
peaky.
you're pushing it there, sister.
But I like it's just like this constant thing that's like in my head now. I'm like, how am I old or am I young? And then you see these like videos on Instagram where they're like, what age is old? And everyone's like, if you're born before 2000. I'm like, what are you talking about? People born before 2000 aren't old.
Yeah, I think I saw something about mid-30s being old the other day on Instagram. And it really gave me a startle. It really gave me a shock.
You're like, mid-30s
is
normal.
Then I show up to this podcast and you call 38 super old. So I don't know what's happening in the world, but sister, you are closer to 38 than 18. Let me just be clear with you. You are in your 30s.
Shots fired. No, I know. I think what I didn't mean super old and like a super old because to me, like 50 is young. Like I'm like 50-year-olds are partying. Like that's when you freaking live. But I just meant like Alex Earl is like what? A pipsqueak. Like she's like 24.
Okay, so this is the difference. I think she and
Braxton?
Alex Cooper, Braxton is her boyfriend. I think they all look the same age as me. So that's my true problem. But I think it's the same problem you have. But for some reason,
right,
you think that she's younger and he's old. But in my point of view, I'm thinking, hey, we're all about the same age, which is absolutely incorrect. But it's okay.
Wait, how old is Alex Cooper?
Younger. She just turned 30. Which I guess is
our age.
It's all right. Yeah, right. Yeah. We are. I just turned 30. And do not fact check me.
You don't know my age. Don't even try. I am young. I am youthful. I am a child bride. I am a teen mom.
You can keep saying it, but it will not change your reality. I was actually just talking to a colleague of mine. She owns an agency who we work with, and she worked with me at my first job in wine, which was at Constellation Brands. And I worked on the marketing team, which was a big marketing team. They have a lot of brands. And it was all these young women. And I really had a hard time understanding what age everybody was. And people would always ask me, especially the men, honestly, always ask me what my age was, which is annoying.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
And I was 24 when I first started working there. And so instead of telling people I was 24, I told them all I was 26 because in my mind, that felt so much more mature.
I know.
And I would like joke that everybody actually in marketing at Constellation was 26. So I was like, oh no. And I was lying about being 26. And one time my boss caught me and was like, you're not 26. And so it became shh, don't tell anybody. But it became a running joke. So then we all joked that everybody was 26. And, you know, some of the, in Nikki's terms, really old ladies who worked there who were over the age of 35. Very, very old, dying old, would joke that they were 26. So it gave life to people. So Nikki, maybe we're still 26.
Maybe we are. 26 is a great year. I'm pretty sure I either got married or got engaged that year. One of the two, which honestly, like
that is back, a child bride.
That is a child bride.
That's a child bride. You are a child bride.
No, and I just want to be clear. I would never say that a woman at 38 is super old. A man at 38, looking at you, my beautiful husband, super old.
Is Nick 38?
Yes. So that was
guy.
He's catching strays, as Nathan would say.
The husbands have to watch out for this podcast.
You never know what's gonna come.
You never know. Oh my gosh. Well, one last story before we get into the book. But today I walked into work and there was a beautiful card sitting on my desk. And it's really going to feed Nikki's ego, okay?
I am famous.
She is famous. People love her.
People love me.
She is not old. So I open up this. First of all, it's addressed to Allie and Nikki Wente. I don't get a lot of mail that's addressed to the two of us. So I open it up. Look at the card. It's a beautiful wedding invitation. The details are there, like wax seals, mini cards, the menu. I know what we'll be eating if we attend said wedding. And I was very confused. And so I sent Nikki a picture of the names. I said, do you know them? I don't know who this is. Nikki didn't know who it is. And I finally, amongst all the parchment papers in the envelope, found a letter from these people. And they said that Morning Fog Chardonnay, which is one of our best-selling Chardonnays, is their favorite Chardonnay and has become such like an integral part of their life. It means so much to their 93-year-old grandmother that she won't drink anything else. They chose a wedding venue that they could specifically bring in outside Chardonnay just so that they could have it and serve it to their guests, and invited me and Nikki to their wedding this summer, Ontario, Canada. I mean,
I know, it's amazing.
I think we have to go.
I think we do. Like, I honestly think we do. It would be so fun to just like give the boys the kids for the weekend, or we could all go to Ontario and they could just hang out with the kids. Like, Canada's amazing.
I've never been to Canada.
Oh, I love Canada.
Yeah, it's in July.
I've never been to Ontario.
There you go.
Canada in
Something's
July.
starting.
It's nice.
Canada in July sounds sort of beautiful, magical, right?
Yeah, because it's like when summer really starts for them.
Yeah.
Like, because they kind of still have snow. Like, Nick and I went to Canada Day, which is July 1st.
And there was still snow?
There was still snow in Banff, but that's in Alberta.
Well, that's also like in the mountains.
Yeah.
Banff is in the mountains.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is in the mountains.
I don't know anything about Ontario. I was like, what state is ON to Allie? Because she sent me a picture of the names with like on the envelope. And I was like, I'm going through the 50 states in my head. Like, what possible letter combination could be ON? And then I was like, oh, it's not a state in the United States. It's a state in Canada.
You can't help the helpless, you guys. I just ignored her comments. I was much more focused on the fact that we got invited to a wedding. And it had the cutest picture of a couple in there. I mean, if you end up listening to this, thank you for inviting us to your wedding.
Yeah, and we actually are going to try and figure out a way to be there.
We're considering. Yeah, there's something to think about here. So I looked up flights.
Yeah.
No, I'm not kidding. I really did. I opened up United and plugged in the dates and was like, what would this cost me?
Yeah, like let's do it.
Let's think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would be really fun. And we love morning fog too. So it's like a shared love can bring people together. And that is what's powerful about wine.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
I mean, I think it's so cool and says so much about how this wine has created so many special meaning and moments for their family that they would reach out and invite us to nobodies, to old ladies to their wedding.
To child brides.
I mean, this sounds like a Laverne and Shirley trip if I've ever heard of one. Canada, here we come.
I can't wait. Honestly, I like time of our lives is coming. This summer is about to be lit.
Time of our lives. This is our moment. No, it's her moment. She's the bride.
Oh, it's not about us.
It's not about us.
Not about us.
I did have a moment there where I had to be like, oh, wait, this is not about me. Because I was so beyond
like thoughtful.
moved.
Yeah,
like, I
so
almost
thoughtful.
wanted to cry reading the note. And then I got all hyped up about how fun it would be and how cool this is. Yeah. Like Nikki said, like, oh my God, somebody that I don't know wants me to go to their wedding. And I started getting all hyped up and then I had to be like, oh, no.
I'm like, don't worry. I have a maid of honor speech just prepped, ready to go.
Nikki cannot come. You can't come. Yeah, you're a liability. Okay, Nikki's going to show up in a white wedding dress.
No, I am already married, happily married. Love you, Nick. You're just old.
You're just super old, so she's rethinking everything.
Well, no, I think his aging just makes me look more young because I stopped aging at 26.
Yeah, no, me too. That was a hard stop for me. The aging.
We talked to God. We were like, you know what? Hard
stop it
here.
Yeah. Stop it here. Stop the train.
No more, please.
Oh my God. Okay, well, this has gotten really out of control.
Yeah.
Nikki, bring us back. Bring us back down. What are we doing here? We are talking about our book.
Yeah.
Of the month.
Our book of the month is Onyx Storm, which like we are the most insane people in the world who pick the third book in a series for the third month of our book club because I don't know why we did that. I think it's just because three.
What's happening?
I think we love the series. We love the Fourth Wing Imperium is what it's called series. And we were excited to read the book and we know that it is a record-breaking book. Onyx Storm is record-breaking. It had the most sales and pre-orders that I think the reading industry has seen in ever, if not many, many years. I've read a headline. I just don't remember what it said.
Yeah, well, and we recognize it is a little weird to start on the third book, but like Nikki said, we were both going to read it nonetheless. And because it is a record-breaking book, if you are interested in the fantasy world, which if you haven't gotten there, do not be afraid. It is very nice.
Yeah. Water's fine.
The water's warm. Come on in. We'll welcome you. Everyone's reading it. So we figured this might not be for everyone. If you are just finding out about our book club and you're thinking, why would they ever do this? To be honest, we are now questioning that ourselves.
Right.
We're like, why did we pick this for everybody? However, for those who are in fantasy world, we know you read it or are planning to read it. And this episode is for you. For everybody else, if you're kind of wondering more about the Imperium series or your two things, we have a recap video we're going to post.
Yeah, of book 1 and 2. So we have Fourth Wing is the first book and Iron Flame is the second book in the series. And the recap post will go up in the middle of March, just so that if you want to just read the third book, you can, and you can just listen to the recap, get some details about the books, and then go on to our
Onyx Storm. We don't recommend that path.
Yeah.
We recommend
reading all three.
Or if you've already read the first two, we recommend you listen to the podcast that we did just to remind you of some of the details on what happened in each book, because they're being written years apart. So a refresher is nice. They get more and more complex, it feels like, as the series evolves.
Right. And so you can always, like, if you're thinking about reading the series, you can always bookmark these episodes, come back after you finish.
Yeah, definitely. So you can save this for later. So,
Yeah.
Nikki, tell us about Onyx Storm, would you? Yeah. Would you pull it up? And while you're pulling it up, I will pour you my wine pairing so that you can.
Just dripping all over the black bag.
I am dripping all over the black bag, which means I'm going to put my bag down here.
Yeah, I'm like, don't put that on the table because Nathan will kill you.
My husband will literally murder me. So if this is the last time you hear my voice, you know what happened.
It was the wine on the table.
It was the wine on the table. As a matter of fact, I don't even. Yeah, you can't pour me yours yet. I'm still enjoying the bubbles.
Yeah. We live in a house of Clue. Oh, you did spill on the table.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So we all know. Nathan, we're so sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
And what a fitting way to end with the Onyx Storm recap.
Actually, yes. Okay, give us the recap. And reminder, no spoilers in her summary, but we will get into spoil. Oh, there might be. She made a face.
The problem is with a third book in a series.
You're right.
Like, there's no way to do it spoiler free because we have to spoil the first 2 books. So if you are interested in reading this series at all, I would
stop the train.
Yeah, I'd probably recommend no longer listening to the rest of the episode until you finish. If you're not interested in listening or reading the series and you just love the sound of our voice, then keep going because there are some funny anecdotes that we will be sharing throughout this episode. So without further ado, spoilers coming to pass. Onyx Storm starts back at the War College of Basgiath. Am I supposed to talk to you?
Talk to me. Okay. What are you doing?
I was talking to the camera.
I know. Don't talk to the camera. She's staring at her phone. I'm like, what are you doing? We're having a conversation.
Get myself.
Yeah. She can't see herself, though. So,
I can't see myself. I probably look a little insane.
Okay, start.
Okay. So we're back at the college, War College, Basgiath. Xaden has just turned into a Venin. And so that's where we pick back up. And the beginning of the book is really all about how are they going to bring everyone that had abandoned Basgiath for Erasia to come back and start school again because they all have a greater threat. Now that everyone knows about Venin, everyone's now on board to try and figure out a way to partner and save the world, essentially. There are potential for people to get in trouble, so they're going through like court hearings. They have an entire council of all of the ruling parties coming in, and so it's very much clerical at first, but they're still trying to figure out a way to get the flyers, which are the people that are riding griffins, because we have dragon riders and griffin riders, to come into the War College as well. So through that, Xaden is reinstated as Duke of Tyrrendor, which was his father's title, which is more than anyone could have hoped for, but he's also Venin. So we're trying to see how we can save Xaden at the same time. And that's really Violet's like main drive through this whole book is how can we save Xaden?
And by the way, nobody knows Xaden is Venin other than a few select people that he really trusts. So he becomes reinstated as a duke. The leadership and government has absolutely no idea.
No idea.
They would kill him on the spot.
Right. That's what they do to Venin. So there's a lot of things that go on in the first part of the book where they're really just at the War College, like trying to figure out next steps. And one of the next steps that they've decided on is sending out a mission to find more of Ondarna's kind, which is the 7th dragon breed, the Irids. And so they start doing all of these little missions for that greater mission and then end up going to all of the like islands that are around the main continent where they live. And all of the islands worship different gods. And so they're basically visiting like different gods throughout their journey to try and find the Irids and also try and bring troops back to support the war. And so that's really what the whole book is about. The mission to find Ondarna's kind, the war, recruiting troops, and then trying to find a cure for Xaden. And by the end of the book, there is a final battle that takes place where Xaden essentially loses his entire soul by going full Venin, releasing the Onyx Storm. And that's what leads us on the cliffhanger for the next book, which we can talk about more. Basically, Violet loses her memory and wakes up with a giant diamond ring on her finger.
Emerald ring.
Emerald ring.
Emerald. emerald ring on her finger. So at the end, we find out that they got married, but she doesn't remember any of it.
And Xaden is gone because he is Venin, and everyone now knows Xaden's Venin.
Yes.
Like everyone knows he's Venin by the end of the book.
Yeah. Not everybody.
Yeah.
Really?
Like they found out that he was Venin. That was like the last chapter. They're like, Xaden is Venin.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Well, I knew some of the characters. So anyways, there are so many details and quote unquote Easter eggs in this whole book that you almost probably need to read it like 3 times to figure out all the details. But I think to start, Nikki, what did you think about their journey through all the different islands? Do you think it added to the storyline?
What did you rate the book?
Oh, we are doing that first. I gave it a 4. So I gave it a 4 because I really love this series. I fell in love with Fourth Wing. You can hear all about how much I love it if you listen to the recap video. But I wanted more of the storyline between Xaden and Violet. And I had a really hard time in the beginning, truthfully, getting into it because it was like very complicated. There was a lot of details. I needed a recap episode before I did that.
There's a lot of world building in this book. A lot of world building.
Politics, characters. So it's complex. It's not an easy read. The reason I loved Fourth Wing was because it was a fantasy book that was an easy read. Iron Flame gets more difficult. I think this one is equally as difficult to understand and kind of keep track of. So for me, I gave it a 4 because again, I just like the story. I like the people. I like the characters. It's interesting. I probably could have gone lower, but I'm going to hold at my 4, but I definitely would not go above a 4.
I gave it a 3.5. And I do half ratings, and everyone's just going to have to suck it up and come on board with me.
I'm fine with half ratings.
So I thought it was way better than the book 2. I did not love book 2. So if you're listening to this after book 2 and you didn't listen to our recap episode, I didn't love book 2. Like, it just felt like they were fighting the whole time. The romance part was like horrible to me. I just thought it was sort of an annoying, like repetitive fighting book. So book 3, I thought the romance piece was more solid. I thought it was entertaining, but I would say that I still think that there was a lot of dragging out scenes. Like it was longer than it needed to be. And it was almost like we were aiming for a page count because people wanted more, and it didn't need to be that long.
Yeah, I think a lot of the complexities could have been left out, and that she actually didn't do a good enough job describing what a lot of the complexities are, from the different types of people. Even so, now I'm getting into it, but as they went to different isles and visited different gods, I'm still not clear. Maybe this is me. I need to go back and read the book again to fully understand it. But the isle where Violet sees the other women with the hair kind of turned and finds out that she was probably one of the children who were what's the word for it? Like committed or dedicated. Yeah. To this god.
To Dune.
But what I am not clear on, and maybe again she's giving us like cliffhangers for book number 5.
Sorry.
You must have lost your mind.
Book
number 5. Nikki's moving around on the couch. She's gonna move right out of the.
It's because I don't have a backrest, so I'm just like.
Oh, she's tired. Yeah. Well, use your abs, you old person.
Oh, I'm so old.
So, anyways, I think that Violet didn't get the answers of what does it mean to have been dedicated to Dune. We don't understand why her dad would dedicate her to Dune. Does it give her special something? No idea. I feel like that wasn't uncovered.
So at the end of the book, they sort of alluded to, but there was no answers. You're totally right. They alluded to the fact that her dad dedicated her to Dune to see if it would fix like the health issues that she has.
Okay.
Like she has a disease.
Right. Yeah, no, I understand.
Like, so they thought that like dedicating her to Dune would fix her.
I missed that.
And like she was really upset when she found that out because her dad always told her how perfect she was, like trying to reiterate that she like it doesn't matter that you have this autoimmune disease, you are perfect to me. But then she's like, wait, I'm perfect to you, but you tried to fix me. So she was like upset about it when she found out, but when she made that connection, but that is not confirmed. It was like from the grandma and Mira, her Violet's sister, like that whole thing. That's like when that came out. So we don't know for sure.
Okay, so
There
we
is
don't know. Okay, interesting. I totally missed that part. This is why we're having this book club, so we can all talk about it.
Yeah.
And then so it just like there's different stories for every aisle, which I just think are so interesting. But then so on one aisle they meet Zayden's mother
Yeah.
unexpectedly, and then her mother's husband
Yeah.
is the one who tried to kill them, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Zayden's birthday. His mom they somehow knew they were coming. They can see into the future. Some of them.
No.
Oh no, they heard from the other aisles.
Yeah. The aisles all talk. And I
Yes.
think that's like, they didn't like, I don't know why they didn't think about that. But they're like, oh no, the aisles don't all talk. Is it my turn to pour your wine?
Oh yeah, but that's okay. You can keep. So they so yeah, the aisles all talk, and I think for me it was just there hasn't been tons of talk. There's a lot of talk in the books about Zayden's dad, not tons about Zayden's mom, and it was really like bizarre the way she just randomly popped in. They're on their visit with her. Her cake that she says that she has for Zayden is literally what is going to kill all of them.
Well, only one person eats it.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
technically only Garrick almost died.
Yeah. But I don't know. It just feels like, and I guess like Zayden's mom wasn't a part of that decision.
Yeah.
But again, I'm like, what's your role here? How do you benefit the plot line, and what happens? Does she come back maybe in the 5th book? I don't know.
No, I feel like that's with a lot of characters. It's like, okay, we were introduced to so many characters in this book. And what's the point? Why? None of this, for me, not enough of the side characters had enough substance. So it was like, okay, and I'm supposed to remember this person and care about this person and what? And then the other piece with all the side characters is she would go back and forth with like calling them first name or last name, which makes it so confusing. Like I can't follow what Imogen's last name is. Like we only listened to Imogen like a couple times.
Yeah. And then this was the first book where she had like Imogen's point of view or other people's point of view at different moments.
She had Zayden's point of view in previous books.
Only in the end, like this one, just the very end.
Yeah.
I
think it's
that.
just because she had to like, when Violet was doing something else, she had to like tell the story from other people's perspective to like get the other side of the war.
Right.
I don't know why she had Rhiannon's point of view. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, right.
Like there was nothing that happened to her.
No, but there might be some. She must become more important in the next book. Yeah. She's always been important because she's one of the best friends of Violet, but like.
Right. But yeah. All right, so who is your favorite character?
My favorite character. I mean, my favorite character. God, I don't even know. In this book, I think my favorite character was. I don't know. That's really hard. Like I really show up for these books because I really enjoy like the love story a little bit, but I don't know if like Violet or Zayden are truly my favorite characters. So I don't. Eric maybe.
Yeah.
Arik was maybe my favorite character because he just like kept coming out of nowhere, being like, I got this super cool power, but I'm super humble and none of you had any idea and you're all idiots. You know, like it was just like funny, and he would just step up and own different areas. So maybe Arik.
Yeah, and Arik is the youngest son of the king.
Yes.
So he like ran away from home and went into this war college, and that's how he's here, and he's on Violet's team. So I agree. Arik is my favorite character, but I feel like the character for me that like honed in my attention the most was Riddick. And it's because he's funny, but he's also sort of cringy.
Oh,
like
I Riddick's so good.
He's funny and cringy, but I honestly am skeptical of him.
Really?
Yes, because Riddick was constantly fighting with his dragon, and like they were playing it off like, oh no, like I put itch cream under his scales, and like all of this stuff like to try and be like, no, we just played pranks on each other. And Violet like constantly is like, yeah, I'll never understand other people's relationships with their dragons, but like he's constantly fighting with his dragon. He's wanting to go on all of the missions so bad with Violet. I'm like, are you a spy?
Makes the like weird when they walk out of the forest and he has his arms around I was almost called her Violence because sometimes Zaddy calls her that.
Zaddy.
We love a Zaddy. But he was like, nothing happened.
Yeah.
But if I move my arm now, you will think something happened. And that, I mean, I get the strong position that is, but also
I don't know.
obviously nothing happened between you
Yeah.
two. So now you're making it seem like you're thinking of it. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just like, there's something about like the whole Riddick writing, like, because I feel like of the side characters in this book, Riddick got the most attention.
He did, actually. You're so right. I kind of forgot about Riddick for a minute, and now I'm like, oh.
Like, he's my first note. When I was like taking notes, I'm like, Riddick's getting tons of attention. Like, he's constantly being written about, and like he is over eager. Like, there's like, it's a red flag to me, and I'm like, what's gonna happen to him in future books? Like, is he Venom already? Like, is he a spy? Like, what's happening? But like, Zayden is supposedly can see other Venom, and that's how he's been like killing them. But I don't know if he can see the ones that are in like the same stage as him, like the very new.
The Sims or whatever. What do they call them?
I don't know.
Yeah. So
See, like that's my thing with this kind of book. Like, if I see something that doesn't stick in my brain, I don't actually like pay attention and try and like figure it out. I'm like, if I need it, it'll come back later. Like, I move on past it because like it can get really like, with world building, it can bog you down. And if you pay too much attention in the beginning, it might deter you from reading the book.
That's actually, Nikki did give me that pointer when we were reading this book where you were like, just pay attention to details that you think are critical and basically throw all the other details over your shoulder. And that, I've done that before. And sometimes I get caught up in it thinking I need to know every detail and really understand it. Especially with this book, if you're on social media and social media knows everything, so it knows if you read fantasy or not, you're getting served up all these people who have all these theories and they've read the book 20 times and they have all these sticky notes in the book. I'm not that person.
No. Me neither.
I'm looking at Nikki thinking, are you? No. Yeah.
We're
not
read
those
Kindles.
people. Yeah, we read Kindle, so harder. Also, I will read books multiple times, but I'm not constantly looking for the Easter eggs per se. I'm looking for the way that the storyline makes me feel. And so those critical details sometimes don't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
Same. I'm a mood reader. Like, I will read a book to just like get me into the mood or like the feeling in my soul that I got from reading the book the first time. So like if I read the book twice, it's because I wanted to feel the same way. And I actually did read this book twice. Well, I listened to it once the second time. And that's how I know how to pronounce Bezgaiath and Aracia.
Yeah. Thank God for Nikki's audiobooks.
It's also,
we have no idea how to pronounce these things.
Rhiannon,
I think.
And I should know her name, but it's just
Rihanna.
Like, Rihanna. Riri. When I read the book, any of the books, her dragon's name to me is Fergie. Fergie.
Yeah, I always read it Fergie.
Fergalicious definition.
Make them boys go crazy.
You had to finish it. But her dragon's name is actually Fierg.
No, it will always be Fergie.
And it's a girl. It's still a girl.
But so this drives me crazy about fantasy writers. Why these names? Why do you have to make everything so hard to pronounce, so hard to say? Because that actually adds to the complexity of all these stupid worlds that, and they're not stupid. Yeah. I do think they're interesting, the world building piece, but if I can't say the name and I can't remember, and if certain names sound the same, but they're actually different, right, you're just making it really hard for us.
Right. So, okay. New question, new topic.
Fine.
We didn't talk about it last night. So we did have a book club last night that Allie invited me to. She's in a book club. I'm like trying to break in. We'll see if they let me.
Honorary.
It's a closed book club, but I'm like trying to just force my way in.
No, you're in.
Excuse me. I'm just crying.
No. She's going to be okay.
So one thing I didn't say last night was the theophany of it all. Theophany.
I hate this name. Exactly why is this the name? But yes.
Yeah. Theophany is a Venom, and she has silver hair. So Violet
is she's a storm wielder.
And she's a storm wielder. So Violet's like immediately like, oh my God, twin, where have you been? And my question is, she said something about like, oh, you mortals. What was it exactly? I think I wrote it down. She said, oh, mortal memory was how she phrased it. Like, oh, your mortal memory wouldn't know this. And my question for you, do all Venin live forever? Or is Theophany one of the gods of old?
I feel like she might be one of the gods of old because she clearly is a Dune worshiper,
Disciple or something.
But yeah, is there something about her that is special? And she seems super powerful and she's a sage, right?
But she's not the main person. So I'm like, if she's a god of old, like there's someone above her that she's trying to impress.
Right. But she got really weird anytime Violet brought up Dune around her. She got really like tense.
Right.
And yeah.
So I'm not sure if she was just like a disciple or if she was maybe like a relation of Dune. Like, I don't know if Dune was a woman or a man. Like, I don't, like.
I think it was a woman.
Okay, so maybe she's Dune's daughter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's something weird about like the mortal thing that I like was paying attention. Like, because I try to grab Easter eggs now, especially when I know we're going to do a podcast about a book that's super complicated, like this book.
Why do we keep picking complicated books?
No, we didn't. Last book wasn't
The
complicated.
last one wasn't complicated.
Yeah, the first one was complicated. God of the Woods, complicated.
Yeah, but you should read it. Anyways, this, I think that totally such a good point in an Easter egg. And then what does it mean? The whole book they had us thinking until the very end that Theophany was a lightning wielder, but she's not.
She's a storm wielder.
She's a storm wielder. So there's this whole thing about balance the whole book. And when Xaden became a Venin, all of a sudden, was it a new freshman? Became a shadow wielder.
Freshman. I think they call it first years.
Oh, like, what's happening? Okay, whatever. First year, that was the most bizarre thing to ever happen to me. The way that Nikki just said that at me. Do not spit your wine out on my couch. Nathan will kill you and me. So anyways, whatever.
Don't make me laugh when I have a full mouth of wine.
First years. So there's a new shadow wielder who's a first year. Now Xaden's a Venin. So there is no lightning wielder technically in the Venins. So, I don't know. Like it feels like there's something here. They're like drawing a triangle or something. I can't figure out what it is.
Yeah. So the thing that I don't understand is that the magic has balance thing came out of fucking nowhere. Like it wasn't a thing in the last two books. Like it's all of a sudden.
She's going full R-rated, you guys. We are cursing.
We are cursing. Sorry, I've had enough wine that the sailor comes out.
Yeah.
No, but it just feels like sometimes in books, like they run out of things to write or they make a mistake. And so they just like correct it in this way. And that's one of them. The magic has balance. I'm like, why do they have to do that? Like, and it's never been talked about. It's not a thing. And now it's a thing.
Because if Violet saves Xaden, quote unquote, saves him.
Does the other guy die?
Yeah. Like what happens to the other guy? Oh, there's no balance. Now what? Like, do we kill the other kid? This poor freshman, I think you would say.
Yeah. So, and then the other piece that I think is sort of like on this same vein is, wait, I had it in my head and now I forgot. Oh, in the second book, they said that Liam wielded ice. So Liam passed away. He was a friend of Violet's and he passed away. He was also part of the rebellion. So he had a rebellion relic. And in the book, she wrote that he wielded ice.
Basically, Xaden's little brother. He lived with Xaden.
And growing up. His signet was Farsight, but he wielded ice in this battle. And Violet saw him wield ice. And so they brought it back in this book and it's like, oh, wait, no, everyone with a rebellion relic has two signets. So now everyone has a second signet, not just Violet because she has two dragons, not just Xaden because he's special, but everyone with a rebellion relic has two signets. But Riddick wields ice. So then if Liam was wielding ice, there's no balance.
There's no balance.
Like, I just don't understand. Like, I don't get, I think she made a mistake a couple times and she's trying to cover her tracks. Maybe?
Clean up on aisle 9. Clean up on aisle 9. This is messy. It doesn't make sense. Not right.
Yeah, but it's okay, Rebecca, because we love you and we're entertained. You're just getting us to talk about you more.
Yeah, we love you. But, simplify and clean up on aisle 9.
What does Carl say? Eliminate, simplify, standardize.
This is what happens when we work together.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, we're not only sisters, we also do everything together. We're invited to weddings together. I honestly still can't get over that. Like, I'm still stuck. Why us? Why not Carl?
I don't know.
Like, us, we are the fun. People love us.
I think she's listening. I think you're going to be listening to this.
Well,
and thank you. We love you.
And
Happy wedding.
It will be a fun time at your wedding, because if you can see how I am now after just 2 glasses of wine, imagine me with a full bar.
I know. I don't know what the bubbles did to my head, but my head is like a floating balloon. Yeah, it is a balloon floating into the sky.
Yeah.
So,
and honestly, in a good way.
In a great way.
I was honestly kind of stressed about having a glass of wine at 3 p.m. on a Friday when I'm alone with my kids for the next 4 days. But now I'm feeling great.
Well, tomorrow is Jones's birthday party, so you won't be alone. You'll be coming
true.
over, and it'll be fine. And I'd have you over tonight, but I just can't. I have to prep this house.
And honestly, I don't know that Maritza is going to be listening to this, but Maritza, my pride and joy, I love you.
We love you so much.
We love you so much.
She's our nanny. We love her.
And she's going to be here tomorrow, and she's going to help me.
Oh, here at the party. I was
party.
like, whoa, bold move.
Yeah, no, she's coming to the party because she loves Jones.
Okay, let's wrap up the book before we diverge and get into our wine pairings, because I see that we're running out of time here.
Oh.
So, what do you think of the ending? The ending, I think, is big. What do you think?
Okay, I think that Arik stole the eggs because there's 6 eggs missing at the end. And I think Arik stole the eggs because he is a precognition. He can see the future. And so I think he took the eggs and is going and wielding and dealing for the continent to try and get more troops, because Dune said they would not help support and they're the god of war.
Yeah.
Like, that's who they are. Like, the island of Dune was like, no, we're not helping unless you bring us eggs. So I think he's going to bring them eggs. He already took 6. They asked for 12. So
The fact that you remember these numbers is outrageous, but good.
I'm
good for you.
I'm good at numbers.
Okay.
I'm not good at spelling.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we know that. Okay. Yeah.
And then I think that, I watched a video of Rebecca Yarros she was like, there's no story without Xaden. So, like, Xaden disappeared, but, like, there's no way we don't save Xaden in 5 books.
We would burn the books if Xaden wasn't in them.
Yeah.
He better not be out of the next book, or I'm not even reading it.
No, I don't know that he'll be out of it. Like, I don't know that you'll get a lot of Xaden in the beginning. Like, maybe not till the first 50%. But I think that Xaden comes back. There is a way to save him. Like, that's what we find out. The Irids come through. Like, something happens. Like, this is how books end in this genre. Like, there's not a lot of books. The reason we read books is for happy endings.
I like a happy ending. Yeah, for romance, this is romantasy. There has to be somewhat of a happy ending, or get me out of this. I don't want to read sad things. Oh my God, so many things you just said. We didn't even talk about Andarna.
Oh, yeah. Poor girl.
Poor girl. She's just like a juvenile, sweet kid who was so excited to see her ancestors, basically, and just like blabbermouthed everything, and they judged her.
But she didn't know, like, and
No,
like,
she
she can't
didn't.
read the room.
No, she's just sweet and innocent and pure.
But I can't believe that because Violet was reading the room, and they had their powers back on that island. She should have been, like, brain connecting.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
tell her to be quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. There did feel like weirdness that happened there. And then also strange that Andarna, like, went back after all of that. But I think it makes sense. Like, she was desperate for it for
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to learn more. Yeah. But then she comes back at the end and saves her.
That's true.
Yeah. So anyways, it's interesting. It's also interesting to know, like, that most writers die when their bond is separated. But
Violet didn't.
Yeah, Violet didn't. She was dark for a little while. But I wonder what that means about her relationship with Andarna. Like, will they still be able to talk? Will they still feel anything? She still has her powers from Andarna.
No, they are still allowed to talk because the Irids can talk to anyone.
Oh, right. Interesting.
But, at the end, when Andarna comes back, she's already talking to Violet in the head. And remember, she was... So there is a theory at the end of the book. Tyrion, the other dragon, is asleep. And Andarna says, like, he's in the deep sleep. He's recovering in Violet's head because they're communicating telepathically. And there's a theory that Tyrion and Sigale broke their mate bond, like had Andarna, because Andarna, the Irids can break bonds. Like, that's what they can do. They can form or break bonds. And like that's how they are like the missing link of like the ward stones and like all of this stuff. That's at least what her uncle or whoever
that guy is. Whoever this other dragon.
Yeah. So at the end, when Taryn's sleeping and is on the deep sleep, the theory is that when Xaden, and in Xaden's chapter, he was like, we need to ask her to do this. And Sigil's like, I don't know that Taryn's going to do this in her state. I don't know that anyone's up for this. And Xaden's like, I'm begging you to do this for me. Like, I know it's going to be hard on you, to Sigil. And the theory is that Xaden is asking Sigil to break her bond with Taryn because
their mating bond.
Their mating bond.
There's no way.
I don't know. I don't know that I believe the theory. I'm just telling you the theory.
That's like the
but
most
that's why
precious thing.
Like, he wasn't that hurt. That's the thing. Like, he wasn't that hurt. He has been more hurt in other battles.
Taryn.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then, like, the fact that he's in the deep sleep would mean that he was really injured.
I took it as he's in the deep sleep because he is so overcome with guilt almost for making decisions on Violet's behalf. Like he needed space. He didn't want, because he and Sigil and Xaden essentially decided that they were going to bring Violet to get married, wipe her memories. You know, they knew, they were like all sort of conspiring. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, I think in my mind, he was feeling like overcome by the weight of having to make all these choices, and he needed space.
Yeah.
But that is an interesting theory, but that would break my heart for Sigil and Taryn, and I really hope that's not the case.
But like, the thing is that Andarna can make bonds.
She can reinstore a mating bond?
Yes. Like, so that's the theory.
This
like,
all
she
feels
can
wrong.
do bonds. Like, that's what they do. Like,
what's the point? What's the point in breaking the mating bond?
So that Violet can't find Xaden. Because with that bond, they can all talk.
Oh, God, I hate this. I don't even want to read the next book anymore. I'm sad.
Who
knows? It's like, oh my God, this book can blow your mind. The series can blow your mind.
Yeah. So I hope that you guys are all reading along with us. Honestly, and like final note, Dane. Good old Dane.
Dane. We never remember to talk about him, but honestly, he is important.
He honestly might have been my favorite character in this book. Like, steady Eddie, like willing, up for anything.
Cool as a cucumber.
Like coming in, saving the day on countless occasions. Absolutely into Sloane. Like, they're about to get it on.
Good for them.
Two
beautiful people.
Yeah, beautiful people. Violet doesn't like you. Like, it is what it is. Like, you guys can be best friends again if he's dating someone else and doesn't have to be. And also, like, all the funny things on that island in the bookstore when he's like, oh, you look just like what I thought you would, Dane, and it's Xaden. You know?
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, that is so funny. That's hilarious.
You'll know if you know. You won't if you don't.
Yeah. Okay, Nikki, what is your wine pairing?
No, you do yours first.
Okay. I'm puzzled. I'm puzzled by mine. First of all, I really like it.
Oh,
good. I really enjoy it. I'm a little confused because I get a lot of bay leaves, like bay leaves or dried herb, and so to me this does not. I don't think it's Wenti. I think it is coming from a different region.
Okay.
Like, it's almost like the minty. Smell it. Okay, she's smelling my glass. But I think
for me, I get like jammy, like, I don't know. I get kind of minty on mine.
No, I get different. We're both putting our noses in each other's glass.
I think that we're not okay.
We're not okay.
And this is why we're saying wine is not supposed to be scary.
Wine is not scary, and if you like it, you like it, and if it's yummy, it's yummy, and just who cares about everything else? But we're just doing it funny. Okay,
we gotta do it fast so that
we have to do it fast because we're running out of time.
But also so we can get good Instagram things.
Okay. Oh, yeah, this is Nikki into content. Okay,
no, I'm Nikki. It's Allie. I'm just trying to help your job. I'm the talent.
Okay. Menthol,
in a good way.
Delicious. It smells really good. I really like it. I think it is Ridge Vineyards Cabernet.
No.
Wrong.
Yeah.
What is it?
It is Cabernet. So good. It is Wenti Vineyards and the Greek Cabernet, because I was thinking velvety, succulent, beautiful.
Sexy.
Zaddy. I was thinking zaddy.
Wait, that's wild. I really smell a lot of like bay leaf sycamore, maybe. Maybe it's the sycamore trees.
It could be.
Sycamore.
It could be.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I really like it, so go us. That's fucking good.
I get some menthol, like mintiness on mine too. I think that mine is Wente Vineyards Cab Franc.
No.
Oh.
It is Ravel and Stitch Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh.
So this is another wine that we make at Wente. It's not Wente brand, but we make this wine and it does really well on premise. It's actually served by the Glass and the Four Seasons.
Yes. And it's a beautiful Cabernet Sauvignon. I was leaning
It's a
Cabernet
crowd pleaser.
Sauvignon, but it had like a little bit of herbaceousness that reminded me of Cab Franc. And so I was like, maybe it's a Cab Franc. And oftentimes, so the difference between Cab Franc and Cab Sauv is that Cab Franc is a little bit leaner usually than a Cab Sauv. But when we make Cab Franc, we generally do it on the heavy side. Like we get them really ripe. We get their high alcohol. Like we get them really robust and beautiful at Wente. And it's our growing region. Livermore Valley is really great for Cab Franc. So it gets them almost to like that Cabernet Sauvignon texture.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was like, oh, maybe this is a Cab Franc and not a Cab Sauv. And I thought you were pulling a fast one on me. And Cab Franc is also like sexy zaddy. But I guess Ravel and Stitch is too.
It is a little bit too. Well, Ravel and Stitch is like a little bit like mysterious, and it has this, it's like bringing people together. I felt like there were so many characters coming together, all meeting one place. And so
it's got like some jamminess too.
Yeah.
It's like just
dark, stormy,
dark,
Onyx.
stormy, but not quite as dark and stormy as the Nth Degree.
Well, we both went with Cab. No, but this is really good. I'm going to keep
drinking
it. Well, Nix, this was super fun. Love you lots and can't wait for our next book.
Cheers.